During the 2019 pandemic that disrupted growth in several sectors, the consumer electronic market was resilient, even with the intermittent closure of physical stores worldwide. Sit-at-home policy increased demand for greater comfort and security through smart devices, which drove growth in the CE industry.
During COVID, people are at home now, and with cell phone. During COVID, I sell more than millions of naira. I put my things at home, and they are ordering it. People are buying it. Then this dollar rate is not like this.
Consumer electronics forms a multi-billion-dollar industry, steadily progressing with new product line towards changing lifestyles. As an extremely competitive market, there are always new players entering the market, particularly from China, a global hub for manufacturing products.
There are various factors. There are many factors that affect consumer electronics, price of consumer electronics. You have to ask yourself, the customs, the clearing of those things when they're coming. I'm just starting from the middle. From the middle. So when you clear them goods from the price last year? I don't think it's the same price this year. The dollar, naira, the disparity. Then also look at, now go to the factories. Discover that they had shortage of chips. Right from the time of COVID, many companies in China shut down, so they couldn't have enough chips to produce these devices. Almost every electronic device actually works on a chip or chips. So if the chips are not available, that means the fewer ones, the price will go up and it will affect the finished products. So when you come in to the market, so what the phone you bought last year, maybe 100,000 naira, and look at the dollar rate last year, look at it today, you discover that disparity is quite huge. So that impacts it. At the same time, we don't manufacture some of these things. If we have the manufacturing plants here, it will help us to do what? To crash down the price of these things. The China where these things are produced, for instance, if a phone is produced at the rate of 50,000 naira, before it will go through the value chain to come here, the price will get into 120,000. So if we're able to produce here, and who says we can't produce? We can produce if we have stable electricity. We have the best brains that can help us to do these things. Then some of the raw materials, we can get them here. So who says we can't do it? No economy that produces or manufactures that has everything. I'll give you an instance. Some of the chips that Apple uses, some companies who call their competition produce some of those chips they use. But they know they're called competing because they need those things. So someone can knock down something in China, buy the brain in UK or Europe, put them together. What you know is they have a finished product that is cheap.
Things are very, very expensive. All these phones, accessories, they're not doing it in Nigeria here. They import everything. Before you struggle money to import your goods, to send money to get goods, if you want to clear it, exchange rates, they'll say the cargo money is too high. All those things to be on the phones things, you understand? But most is because of dollar rates.
Nigeria cannot buy a standard that Americans or Europeans use as a new brand phones So that is the reason why Nigerians buy Tokumbo phones, because of their standard quality.
Consumer electronics refers to as the entire range of products containing electronic circuit boards, intended for personal or non-commercial use. However, smartphones have been seen leading in consumer electronics and are the largest segment in the CE market as part of our daily lives. It is hard to imagine a world without it.
Mostly, let me use our phone as an example. Most things we use here in Nigeria, most of them are not Nigerian made phone. So, like our phone, sometimes it is with dollar should rise, the phone price will rise, and it should come down.
Last month, for the rate of, I got one at that last month for the rate of 65,000. Now when I went back for the phone again, it was about 70-something thousand.
If you import something from outside country to go and clear it in airports, before I do clear 30 kg. How much? It's not up to 5,000, and now you'll be hearing 30-something thousand, 50,000. Check it now. Do everybody know what is happening in this country? Dollar, and fuel. Oh my God.
To be candid here, there's really a lot of changes, a lot of difference, and the governments are not really trying to be candid here. because you can't compare the prices we fix all these parts then last year compared to the prices we are fixing them now.
The Nigerian consumer electronics market had total revenue of $4.9 billion in 2020, representing a compound annual growth rate of 4% between 2016 and 2020. Sales of consumer electronics through online pure play channels have been on the rise for a while in Nigeria, reflecting a global trend in consumer behavior. Nigeria is one of the most prosperous consumer markets in Africa, and for brands such as financial institutions and media agencies, with estimation of about 198 million people, close to 3 times the size of South Africa's population, and as the largest population in Africa. Lagos alone houses over 21 million people and is Africa's largest city by population. According to research conducted by Business Chief, 87% of the trading in Nigeria happens in informal markets. Informal trade is not tracked or included in overall GDP calculation, which is the gross domestic product calculations, which means Nigeria's economy is more prosperous than GDP alone can represent. According to research conducted by Business Chief, 87% of the trading in Nigeria happens in informal markets. Informal trade is not tracked or included in overall gross domestic product calculations, which means Nigeria's economy is more prosperous than GDP alone can represent. Today, as the Nigeria economy continues to flourish and the population gets older, their buying power will continue to increase, and companies looking to expand could benefit from learning more about this powerful set of consumers. At the moment, Samsung is doing pay small small with Tecno, with Intel Core, with the launch on Buy Now, Pay Later plan, will make life easier for new and existing customers. No doubt that the recent hike in dollar is making sales on CU unbearable. The Central Bank of Nigeria seems not to have figured out the tolls on Nigerians. With a new development on redesigning the Naira note, what is our fate? Share and subscribe to this channel, www.youtube.com/Digivation Network.